Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. And yes, I've got to do it. If you haven't already, please give this channel a subscribe. Do many great historical gaming videos here, and love to see you around more often. So thanks so much if you would. And yes, we're continuing with Hearts of Iron 3, Black Ice, playing as Germany. We're playing with the 10.33, slightly modified, with modified plus a lot of mods. Gun position, twin engine airplanes. There we are. Is a 36 technology, but let's come down to gun ability. And Spain, yes, we'll give you some fuel. That'll help you out. Oh, you're just doing the siege of Madrid right now. I think it's maybe late 38. The extra fortifications goes away or something like that. Could say we're out of our economic troubles, but we're not, because we are producing a lot of supplies that we're exporting, and that's taking away from what we could be producing to either expand our industry or expand our forces. Okay, let's see. Okay, good. Probably gonna do a bit more. Paris Exposition, Paris Expedition International des Arts et Techniques dans la vie moderne. Okay, international expedition dedicated to art and technology in modern life. Okay, I guess, I don't know. Was held from the 25th of May to the 25th of November 1937. The pavilion was conceived as a monument. We're talking about the German one here. It's a monument to German pride and achievement. It was to broadcast to the world a new and powerful Germany had restored sense of national pride. Okay, so there's the German monument, and right across, literally exactly right across, you see there is the Soviet pavilion. So they are literally exactly across from each other. And like we saw in the earlier event, there are actually a couple of not colorized, original color photos. It's the sort of the eagle up top, designed by Speer. I think that is, I don't know, stone or concrete. I mean, it was built to be a temporary building, and it was removed afterwards. All of them were, I believe. I know the German and Soviets one were, but they were built there. So. And we can see nighttime sort of footage of it, the fountains. I think some of the fountains are still there. I don't know that they were built for this or just were there, always there. Sort of inside, more info, you can decide not to. Okay, but that proves, okay, you can see. Now this is, we saw sort of that. This is down the long sort of hallway in the front of the building here. You see they have like a German race car, lots of stuff in glass cabinets. Do a lot of industrial espionage from looking at what other people are doing. I don't know why this thing is repeating here. Germany loses threat and all. Okay, there's a nicer picture of the race car. And this is also fascinating. So this is at the, after you go through the end of the long hallway, you come into this, which is room, huge room, glass, at least on the sides of there, to bring in a lot of light. Dealing with, well, you know, these are like mail plane You know, they trans very fast mail planes, because, you know, Luftwaffe isn't really too much of a thing yet. So yeah, these are mail planes. Yeah, and so you come in here, and to leave the building, because you sort of enter in one end and you walk along it to leave the building, you come into this big room at the end, and they have, you know, the planes up sort of above you, and there's like an engine there. That's another radial engine. Those are some radial engines back further, just to give you some sort of size comparison. But you come back in here, I think it's like right there, you start walking. This is a walkway. This is how big this is. This is a walkway. And you spiral up to there, spiral up to here. Then you walk up and around here. This is, again, now coming closer to the camera, so it's getting larger. So this is, again, a human-sized walkway that presumably the sides of this are, you know, your waist height or whatever, so you're not falling off easy, but you're able to look around. So you walk up and around here and then out that door to be able to see it. That's just cool. I mean, you can hate the Nazis all you want, and they're evil, no doubt, but that's just sort of cool architecture and display, and impressive the way it's done. I mean, it'd be impressive today. Okay. We like money for crude oil. Okay, we'll do this. So yeah, that just one of Spears, and I think he did have some help with designing some of that stuff that's said in the thing. Yeah, I said in the thing. I know I made it, but it's how many years ago did I make it? And another little tidbit, periodically more on the installation video. Hey, I just recently got, just getting the sort of letter prefix and numbers for the title and event descriptions. You know, it's not providing the proper text for it. Now there is one series of events that I've never completed that does have that, yeah, but the rest, you know, for TRE, it's not coming in. And what's wrong? How do I fix it? And my answer was install it correctly. And then no, it wasn't to that, because I linked to the well, I get a lot of them on the install video guide. I'm sorry, I can't diagnose what your problem is if you're having a problem. Even if I, at some point, so I'm a little distracted. Even if I knew at one time what might be causing, say, one of these problems, that doesn't mean I remember. I'm sorry, I don't remember, you know, just because I know you're trying to give me a problem. Hey, what would be causing this? How could I do it differently? I don't know. I may have known at some point, you know, how to diagnose some of that. Yeah, after the destroyers. But I don't remember. Sorry. Okay, yeah, that's sort of what I want some of these things to expand in. And I sort of, you know, it does sort of sound like being a jerk. You know, yeah, install it correctly. You know, and you go, how is that helpful? Well, I don't know what else to answer, because you won't be having it if it's installed correctly. And no, I don't know what you did to do it wrong. And I know people, I've all read the instructions, or I've watched the video and I've done just what they say. Well, if you've done just what the written directions, either by the Black Ice people and Revolver Held or whatever, you know, or myself, how to install it, or and you watch the videos, and you're still getting these problems, you didn't pay close enough attention. Here's what I thought would happen from buying the stuff from the Soviet Union, which is fine, but what I'm hoping now to do is, because at some point we want to, okay, they have, not very much money, but a lot of fuel. But do you want it anyways, maybe? No. They've got lots of money. And so, yeah, events that I made however many years ago, unless I'm looking at the stuff. And looking at it reminds me of what I was doing and thinking at the time. But without that, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know why they have. I don't know why. Von Manstein's personal headquarters there without having von Manstein there, but what doing it? I don't know. Minor research. Okay. What is the U.S.? Okay. We're just going to take yours in time. We're going to take yours in time. Well, I don't know if we're going to take yours, but we don't need to. We don't need to. We don't need to. We don't need to. I guess so, since we're taking some of your money. Let's see, we have a, yeah. Really not trying to build my money up more than it is now. Okay, fleet auxiliary carrier doctrine, very nice. That's a one and done, I know, but we want to get underway replenishment, which the Americans were the best at in the world during, well, at least during the war period. More so than I'm worried about. Well, light cruiser escort control, our role, that's absolutely, I don't know if we're going to, I mean, either we have just too much research or, close Soviets or something, we might get into doing that, but I definitely want to get like radar training, and definitely get, of course, extend the range of our vessels and medium velocity gun advance. Very nice. Well, let's get going on traction suspension. Germans probably had the most advanced traction suspension during the war period, and basically too nice, too good, because it's too expensive. I don't think they do a very good job in War Thunder. I don't know if you guys play it. I play it a lot, of course, if you paid any attention. But the Panther, the Americans put a stabilized system on some of their tanks, including the Shermans. So those guns are stabilized just in the vertical axis, not in the horizontal axis. The Germans didn't, but they tried to make with the Panther stabilize the gun by stabilizing the tank as it's driving over not too rough of terrains by its really good suspension system. And so I don't think they do a good enough job. And I don't think, I haven't driven around in one. They may be entirely 100% correct, but they doesn't seem to be working very well in War Thunder that way. But the Germans sort of overdid some of the stuff. Really good. Yeah. Julius Caesar basically is launched. Cool. Okay, Fall Grün. If the Reich is going to take the Sudetenland, we may need to take military action. Czechoslovakia has a large arms industry, a well-trained army, a strong border fortifications, and likely strong allies. If we press the issue, we need to prepare for war. Should we have the German general staff to begin development of a plan, Fall Green, for war against Czechoslovakia. Okay, so we can spend some supplies and we will get some benefit to some basic techs or not. Yes, we'll do so. Air bases for West Germany, number 4. Yes, we've had the 3 before. No. Come down here. Up to the top. Okay, that's doing well. We're getting more factories. We're getting into production of aircraft and units. And yes, we are keeping these guys undeployed so that they don't boost the supply needs and whatnot for the army. Sort of keeping them in limbo there. Okay, Castle Soggle. And I think that is okay. That's grayed out. It's that one, like I thought. Italy. Okay, another ship, and also is there two of them? Maybe. Or is it just double reporting, or do they? I don't know. Okay, armored spearhead. Yes, there we go. We'll do that. And more tweaking here. Have to do this too much. Okay. Yeah, let's reduce this down just a bit. A little more over here because we have huge amounts. Well, fairly huge amounts of supplies, and I do want to make extra. Well, extra. I don't mind getting massive amounts extra, really. I want to look at Hanover. Where's Hanover? Is this Hanover? Yes. Okay, so currently we're getting 26. I think it was back at 18 or something like that when we were starting some of this. So it's helping. It's a base of 7, so and that now that's being affected obviously by the different plans, including the 4-year plan. Okay. Reinforcement chance, infantry unit combined arms advance. Which will go away. Once the 4-year plan is over. Money. Yeah. We want to stock up on that. On oil. And getting it from Hungary isn't a bad idea. Early liaisons advance. Okay, here 38. Oh, let's do some of these 36 technologies first. Or even back down here. Gate command structure. Especially that reduced or delay between attacks. Reducer is super important. Okay, they've redone some of this stuff. I don't know better or worse than original or the earlier, but definitely change. Carmina Baruna premieres the opera. Do I have to go to an opera? I don't know if you do, but yeah. Can you imagine a world in which the good thing you look forward to is actually wanting to go to an opera? Like, yeah, this is, like the most, like pop music, whatever the current pop people want to go. It's the hot ticket in town. Okay, Achtung Panzer by Guderian. Yeah, I can maybe do a better job at that, but it's hard to read that. That's the cover of the book without a dust jacket. I don't know if it had a dust jacket. Probably did. And there's just Guderian in a Panzer uniform. Though a bit later with his Knight's Cross, but yeah, okay. So that will help with a bunch of other texts. And doctrines dealing with panzers. Infiltration tactics. Yeah, we'll let this go here. Let's check all the places where we have, make sure where we have a heavy industry, that we have it fully concentrated there. Even one as a multiplier really helps. They're fully done up. Okay, let's just think they might get one Hanover, but I'm not sure. Thought Leipzig did, but we don't see it there yet. Germany should be maxed, or Berlin should be maxed out. They're maxed out. All right, that helps. Like I say, I sort of spread out some just because you're building more at the same time, but also I want to make sure all of the concentrated localities are handled. And mentioning that, let's add in a few more around here. Okay, we've already sort of expanded into here. I'm just looking, if we're already building one there, I don't want to immediately start building another one. Well, because I want to get more production at the same time, not less. Okay, now before we forget, okay, after the destroyer here. There we go. Okay, the Marine SA. The Marine SA is the naval contingent of the Sturmabteilung. Training will improve our sailors and make the Navy more politically correct. And they were very worried about both of those things. Like we've seen a lot of with the Ritter SA. Yes, some of those men absolutely went into cavalry units, guys riding around. As the war goes on, if not fairly early, the swords are purely ceremonial. But, guys on horses with rifles, meant to, maybe they're still using some, they still thought they were going to get in cavalry clashes, but yeah, as the war goes on, it becomes more ceremonial. But meant to, ride horses around, get near the enemy, get off the horses and fight on foot, sort of dragoons or whatever. But also a lot more of them were just the guys taking care of the horses that were towing the wagons, towing the artillery, towing whatever that, horse transport was used. But they also, because they wanted to expand the Navy, they were also using this without expanding the Navy or without expanding the Army, because you're still at various times, because this is happening before 37. I mean, this is happening fairly early. I don't know. They had Ritter SA units before Nazis coming to power. I presume they had Marine SA units. I don't know. These aren't like Marines like U.S. Marine. That just simply means CSA. The marine environment, like a submarine below the water kind of thing. They may have had them. I'm not sure, just not sure. But so they want to expand training programs without necessarily showing to the world that they're expanding the size of the Navy. as well as the army, because they're doing a lot of army training. But they also are worried, particularly I've read more in the army, but I know so in the other forces want to make sure there's more politically correct people in it. So we'll do some crew training and spotting gain. Yes, we'll take that. So that's all going on at this time. It's interesting how radical movements, sometimes of the right, like I keep fascinating on whether National Socialism is right or left wing. Conventionally, it's right wing, but there's definitely a lot of left wing elements to it. Okay, they've finally took Madrid, and the Spanish Civil War is over. How nice. I thought it, well, I mean, I guess they just were able to take the capital. So eventually the fortifications go away. Maybe it did and we just didn't see it, or most of the fortifications go away. But we also see left-wing organizations, very much so, to very blatant commissars in the Soviet army, political officers, they intermixed into regular units. And we see, say, in the modern U.S. military, diversity training. And if you don't think diversity training isn't political commissars within our military, you are gravely mistaken. Oh, they're just doing diversity. I'll tell you what, since, I don't know, at least the 1970s, I know in my reserve officer training, I was never fully in the Army, but very much so. There is only one color in the United States Army, and that is green. They didn't have diversity because everyone was green in the U.S. Army. Everyone was green. They didn't care about diversity. They weren't looking for diversity. They were looking for everyone be green. No, they didn't dye everybody's skin green, but that was the idea, was there was no diversity. They weren't looking for diversity and making sure that there was a certain number of colored people of a certain color at a certain job or certain rank. It was everyone was green. Everyone was green. How many generals of what color we have? Well, they're all green, sir. All of our generals are green. We don't know beyond that. All of them are green. And that's the way it should be. But this diversity training BS that they're pushing in is political commissars. Trust me on that. Or don't trust me on it and do your own research. But it's true. Okay, Adolf Ehrman dies. He was a German Egyptologist. So relations, though Egypt is no longer a nation here anymore because the AI needed to annex it, or otherwise the British AI doesn't properly defend it. Okay, the 29th Infantry Division gets upgraded from infantry to infantry division motorized. Okay, now is that in the... Yes, okay, so what we're going to do here is, we want it well before we get some of these battleships, so let's put that there. Okay, let's move Tirpitz and Graf Zeppelin way down. Oh, yes. Okay, we'll get the Blücher and the Bismarck in some level of production here fairly soon. But I gather from the research he was rather popular with some of the Egyptian intellectual types. And Germany, and now a lot of it is destroyed in the bombing raids, or carted off by particularly the Soviets, just to sort of show the difference. the West, particularly the US, and you've probably seen the movie Monuments Men, is very much trying to restore artwork and treasures, generally speaking, but artwork, to the two nations that were looted by the Nazis. But they also did not take, and I found some of those caves full of stuff, including a lot of German, Hindenburg's body or whatever, and and other German national treasures like that were stored away. The Americans in the West weren't looting Germany for its national treasures, where the Soviets did. The Allies did take a lot, and we still have warehouses full of what we think are stolen paintings that have not been able to be returned. And now they did plunder it and they took a lot of the stuff, and we have it in our National Archives, of Nazi paintings, Nazi works of art. But we didn't just plunder Germany. Now, the Soviets did plunder Germany for things like Egyptian mummies or whatever. They plundered a lot of that, and of course they were occupying the East, where the sort of centers. But a lot was destroyed. A lot of work, a lot of original Egyptian artwork are not just artwork, but a lot of original Egyptian historical material that was destroyed in the war. Unfortunately, we would give them fuel. Okay, 76. We could use some money, sure. Okay, so let's just look here. Okay, so we've got a bunch doubled up on the industrial capacities that haven't not yet reached their full capacity in targeted cities, just expanding generally as well. And we're into building aircraft and fairly largest numbers of ground units. Very good. Okay. Air and ground units. Marco Polo Bridge. Okay. Japan is starting its major blunders. The Ark Royal is launched. No longer get some money for. And we would give them no, thank you, Ireland. Okay, so this is the event happens if the Spain has won its civil war. So we get approved relations with Spain, some gains in national unities, hold a big Condor Legion returning parade, get some Blitzkrieg doctrine and Third Plunk doctrine and ground attack and fighter ground control and fighter and victorious Condor Legion. Coming back, that all looks good. Amelia Earhart disappears. Return manpower to the pool. Latvia, we give them money for our materials, decline that. Now, did that come into our now? There we are. So it's like Von Thoma's back with Conf Group A88. Oh, did I do that? I don't know. Okay. Number 5. Yes, we'll do that. Okay, destroyer class advanced small warship armament and engine can be improved upon. Let's look at. Okay, that's grayed out. Okay, so 1937 technology will push into that, and artillery unit combined arms has advanced. Okay, that's a 38, so, well, yeah, infantry is more important than small ships. Okay, so right now we have a Kampf Group of a Panzer Regiment 88, a Condor Legion infantry, motorized infantry battalion that's way under strength. Both of those will gain more strength. And the Condor Legion's heavy A, they're calling it a 37 millimeter, but it's sort of meant to be the flak 88, so we're used down there, and motorized. So we have a nice little unit there that we may very well add a few more brigades to make it even more of a sort of combat unit. Yeah, no, it didn't survive long from coming back. Okay, here is an important thing here. The Hossbach memorandum was the summary of a meeting on November 5th, 1937. Wow, we're getting the event early, but okay. Between the German dictator Adolf Hitler and his military and foreign policy leadership, where the Führer's future expansionist policies were outlined. The meeting marked a turning point in Hitler's foreign policies, which then began to radicalize. It outlined Hitler's plans for expansion in Europe. According to the memorandum, Hitler did not want war in 1939 with Britain and France. What he wanted was small wars, and I've talked about this before, small wars of plunder to help support Germany's struggling economy, although the Nazis never let on about their financial problems. See, I don't... Plunder to help Germany support Germany's struggling economy. I think that's too much of a Marxist interpretation of Hitler and the Nazis. Not that the Nazis weren't concerned about economics, but Hitler's motivations, in my opinion, whatever level of a knowledgeable person I am on Hitler, was not motivated by economics. They were motivated by this sort of racial view of Germany and Germans' destinies. I mean, it's not like he wants to do, well, I mean, they will do final solutions and other things and take very productive people in their economy, and not just Jews, but very productive people in economy, and put them in concentration camps. So, yeah, he will do some things that hurt the economic growth, knowing full well that it will hurt economic growth to achieve his goals. And now, if you look at, and part of it, he looks definitely looking to expand Lebensraum, and sure, some of that is to expand resource gain, including food, because obviously you could build more apartment flats if you just want more living space for people. No, it's growing food, and it's that type of thing as well. It's not just purely domestic living space. It's food and whatnot. So in those terms, yes. But Hitler, and yes, they did, when they went into places like Poland, plundered some level of machinery for arms production, but they also kept machinery in Poland for arms production and kept producing arms out of them throughout most of the war. And definitely you see that in Czechoslovakia. So I'm disagreeing with that sort of Marxist view of, if I said socialist or communist before, I'm mistaken, Marxist view, because Marxism has infected even conservatives, even right-wingers. Marxist views seeing everything through the economic reasons why humanity does things, where I think it's a major factor, but I think it's often not the primary factor or motivating decisions. Sometimes they're strategic. Oh, hey, yeah, the King of England's going, oh, hey, yeah, we're having this, 100 Years' War, whatever, with France, the first or the second one. And it's not just one war, it's on again, off again war. Yeah, let's see about getting Scotland under our control, because they're sort of aligned with France. And so when we go to war, they sort of, come in there. Some of that is purely strategic positions. You want to clear out your flanks. A lot of it is other emotions. Okay, Hitler wanted a full-scale European war with Britain and France between 41 through to 45 kind of thing. Yeah, I would have said 41 to 42. And he definitely, this war with Britain and France wasn't meant to also be a simultaneous war with the Soviet Union. Not a simultaneous war. But yeah, a major general war in the West. And I think Hitler knew that, but he couldn't just decide to slice off Belgium, and probably couldn't slice off the Netherlands without causing these other nations to go to war. Okay, nope, we'll just take yours. Like money for, okay, we'll do a small with Iran and help our relations with them. So he definitely, but he knew in his mind, he knew they wouldn't go to war over Eastern countries. Now, of course, that turned out not to be the case, but hey. Okay, 3-man turret, that's a one and done, I know, but let's still look at tank development here. No, what we're going to do is come down here, because I remember there's a bunch of these things now unlocked. So let's start grinding our way through that. And offer from Argentina, money, rare materials. Okay, Reichswerke Hermann Göring. So in what I've done is disabled the whole 4-year plan for Black Ice in favor of my version of the 4-year plan, where they do it every year. They give a certain amount of bonuses. I don't know, I haven't done the math, which one gives more bonuses. Doing both would sort of overpower Germany. And if you notice here, until September 37, so it's not terribly long, 6% of the ICs are down. And remember, we did take away stuff at the beginning of the game, removed some of the takeaways, added some stuff with the beginning of the 4-year plan, but this is part of the Reichswerke Hermann Göring, since I'm looking at this as an event that's working along the term of November. Hermann Göring obtained an unchecked access to state finances and launched a chain of mergers, diversifying into military industries with absorption of Rheinmetall. So he is not so much owning this, personally, even though it's under his name, but it's sort of under the sort of 4-year plan ministry. I'm sure he can also, siphon some personal funds off. And where it says, don't worry about it again, where it says lose, these are all gains. So costing you some more, resources, rare materials, money, but we're expanding up. So this is part of the expansion of Germany. And I think we'll end this here. No, we're not going to do that. I want to thank you all so much for making it this far into the video. I really do appreciate it. And again, I love your comments, so you can post below, including corrections, because if I'm sure I'm getting some stuff wrong. I don't know what it is at the moment, or wouldn't be doing it. But you can post corrections below. Or ask questions about things. And I don't like to type a lot, so my answers may be short typed, but I try to remember to address them in future videos, so if I think they're worthy of a deeper dive. So see you then for more. See you tomorrow for more Hearts of Iron.